2020. Okay, so this is an unusual winter webinar. This is when COVID stole summer. So what we did here was we got 6 questions together and we opened up the Citizen team and asked them. Because as we know, 2020 has been a rough year, especially for community archaeology. We have had to adapt, we've isolated, we've done all kinds of stuff to try and make stuff work. And this is another version of trying to make stuff work. So we're going out on a limb here. The first attempt went pretty badly. The idea was to have 6 of us in one room, and I'll just show you that attempt, then try and explain it. So here you go. The sound is coming from the computer.
That makes me need a wee.
This is webinar gold anyway, so just play this, it'll be grand.
I mean, this
Can be paid for content. Oh, bloody hell!
It's very Christmassy though.
No, that's all right. Windows,
everyone
it's fine.
stop talking. Andy, how long did you think?
You regretted this yet, Grant?
Yes. That could have gone better. Okay, so after that train wreck of a format, I decided to interview them all individually and then pick out the best questions. That seemed to work a little bit better. So without further ado, here is when COVID stole summer from the Citizen team.
Hi, my name is Caroline and I'm the project manager for Citizen.
So I'm Lara and I am the lead archaeologist or project officer for the East Kent Coast Discovery Programme.
Hello, my name is Danny Newman and I am the community archaeologist for Mersey Island.
I'm Andy, I'm the Liverpool Bay Discovery Programme Officer.
Okay, so we're going to start with the beginning. And what was your first reaction to the COVID-19? And then how long did you think it would last?
Oh, my first reaction was, it's just like SARS or something. It'll burn itself out. It might go to a couple of countries, but then it will just go poof and disappear. SARS, MERS did it. This will do the same. I wasn't that fussed in the slightest. I came back from Germany using the anti-vax wherever I should, came through the airport, no one checked, so it's fine. And 3 days later, we went into lockdown. And when we did go into lockdown, I thought, 3 weeks, that's a long time. Really? Oh, my goodness. And then Boris upped it and there was another 3 weeks, so it was 6 weeks. It's like, oh, wow. But yeah, be done by then. 3 to 6 weeks, totally done. And I even told, I had quite a few members of staff who were thinking about their holidays and what to do. And I thought, July, just please, can you all guys, can you stay in this country so we can do our Q6? Yeah, Q6 meeting at the beginning of July, and then stay around for Festival of Archaeology, which is the first 2 weeks of July. And after that, then people can start, taking their holidays and so on. But yeah, I was really hoping they'd stick around for that. So did I know that my worry was not necessary.
Well, it was odd because we were on fieldwork in the week before lockdown, and we were on fieldwork with almost no internet, with people who were coming from, well, actually mostly it was residential, so no one had internet. So we were hearing these drips of, oh yes, there's this pandemic, someone's got ill, and we're like, oh yeah, it'll be over, like it's just like flu, it's going to blow over. And then we were practicing fist bumps and elbow bumps and stuff just to be on the safe side. But then the last day everyone had gone and I went into Sandwich and I had a headache and I went to buy some aspirin and I went to Co-op and they were like, oh no, we've got no painkillers. What do you mean you've got no painkillers? They're like, there's nothing. So it was like literally from walking from like a completely normal fieldwork experience into some kind of zombie apocalypse movie. It was very strange.
At the very beginning, I reckoned it would be done. I was really hopeful it would be done by the end of July. That was my big hope. I figured we would lose spring, we would lose some of our summer holiday, some of our summer field work, and then we'd be able to regroup and carry on after that. So yeah, I thought by July it would all have.
Yeah, I went with July as well. We were very wrong. Very wrong.
Very, very wrong. But interesting, the scientists did say it's going to be a year. And as scientists, maybe we should have listened to the other scientists.
No, it's the year of not listening to science.
I know, but I think I was being a bit optimistic. I know in retrospect, I was being quite optimistic about it. But I think that's a very human trait to be optimistic about these things, because I think had I known in March that it was going to effectively be a full year, I probably would have been very glum. So I'm quite thankful that I retained some of my optimism and only moved the goalpost a little bit further as we went along.
Bemusement. I think I was just not sure quite how much of an impact it was going to have on what we were doing. And I was really hopeful that it would burn itself out over summer and we would be up and running, back out and about on site September, October time. And greatly disappointed that that hasn't worked. But hey ho.
I think you've got the latest time though. Everyone else went with July. And then I went with like 3 weeks.
No,
You've got the latest. You thought the other ones I've recorded, you've got the latest, the most accurate. No one guessed a year, but you've got the most. Thing you professionally, before we get personal, hated the most about the lockdown.
Professionally, the thing I hated the most, I think, is that we are all, the whole of our team are outreachers. We're people. We want to get out, we want to talk. So when you go to an event and maybe you've got a table of fine set out, your posters and so on, and someone comes to your table and they say, oh, what's this? And you explain your artifact or you explain a map and you have a good conversation. They go, oh, that was really interesting, thank you. And they move on. And you feel, yes, they liked me. They liked what I had to say. I couldn't believe I knew so much. I've been talking away. And that sense of satisfaction you just don't get from digital engagement in the same way. So when someone likes a post on Facebook, you're like, oh, only one. If you have one person coming to your table and having a good conversation or looking and go, oh, this is nice. That's their like. That's them pressing the like button. But the satisfaction is just not the same. And
gratification, is it? I didn't realize how much needy I was until you're giving a webinar to because the numbers are incredible. I've never spoken to 150 people before. The numbers are incredible, but you've got no one smiling. You don't know if a joke lands. You don't know if people are engaged. It's really weird. We see likes and you get comments and we get feedback. But yeah, it will be nice to get back to physical interaction, seeing the smiles on people's faces and knowing that the actual messages are hitting home.
The thing I professionally hated the most was not being able to do field work, not being able to go and do field work with volunteers and then having to switch to digital. So like a lot of on screen all day doing admin, on screen doing outreach, and I'm a practical outdoor person. So it was very hard.
The thing I hated the most about 2020, well, professionally, the thing I hated the most was not being able to get out to the sites and not being able to work directly with the volunteers, because that's part of the reason, well, that's the main reason I took the job, was to be able to be a community archaeologist, to be able to work with people, to be able to learn from them, and to really be able to understand these sites and the importance that they had to the people who walk on them every day, every week. So it was, I think that was the thing that made me the most sad, and the greatest disappointment I had was, though we did manage to get out, it was very fleeting and brief visits. And I would have really enjoyed having this year to be able to do the project in the way it was envisioned to be done.
Oh man, the thing that I've hated the most about lockdown is just being stuck in my flat, working from my kitchen table, not having anybody to interact with, not being able to meet anybody, not being able to go out onto the foreshore. If there was a situation designed to make me less inclined to work, then this was it. It's just the self-motivation to get out and do things when you're not able to get out and about is really, really difficult. So hopefully we can get back into an office and we can get back onto a foreshore again really soon, because the first 3 or 4 weeks were fun and interesting and a bit different, and then it just started to drag and grind and not designed to be sat on my backside.
Personally, I hated the most, I think for me, is I've put on at least a stone and a bit. It really brings out my lazy side. I know I could go for a run, but I can't be bothered. And then laziness kind of attracts laziness. And yeah, well, I hate myself, I think. It's just demonstrated how easily persuaded I am to not go out, and I can't be bothered anymore. That's awful. And then I start, so in my spare time, occasionally on the side, I'm a snowboard instructor, and when I went back to instructing at the start of lockdown 2, the dry ski slope had opened up, and I was teaching, and I couldn't, my salopettes were a little bit tight. And I had to dash up the hill and run up the hill, and it was exhausting. And then when I had to do a demonstration, I had to push myself up off my board, off the slope onto my board and go down, and I couldn't do it. I was 3 times, and I'm yanking myself up, and it looks so stupid. And so what I hate in this whole thing is my inability to get off my own backside. Go for a run.
Yeah, different. Motivation was difficult. I was good for about a month, and then in the second month, I think I had like a really dodgy second month of just takeaways and sat doing nothing, reading books, completed Netflix, watched every documentary you could possibly watch, then got onto the weirder YouTube documentaries, and then just started making videos eventually.
I think that's where we all kind of, where we think COVID was, or lockdown were temporary. Well, so then we all go for it and have a really healthy few weeks, and then we realise, oh, lockdown is taking ages, and then it all flops. And then we go up again and go, yeah, and then it all flops. And then, but if I'd known that it would last a year, maybe my attitude towards healthy eating and exercise would be different, and I wouldn't be gone in these spurts.
Yeah, I picked one thing that I knew would take a whole year to learn and do that. Okay.
Thing I personally hated the most. Losing holidays to lockdown. I managed to, although we managed to plan field work both times, so we avoided lockdown, but I managed to book 2 holidays this year that fell within the first week of lockdown both times, so that was quite hard. It hadn't been that was a shame. Everyone likes a holiday.
The thing I personally hated the most, right at the very, very beginning of it all, was the lack of IT. It was just terrible. I am used to working from an office, and so I am perhaps the least technologically set up of any of the Citizen guys. So I have no tech whatsoever in my flat. And so the first 3 or 4 weeks was just massively frustrated, because I kind of knew that I had to have all of this stuff and how it was all supposed to work. And then I was just sitting there going, oh, Grant could do this, Chris could do this. Why am I massively struggling? So it's been a huge learning curve. It's just good, personal growth and all that. But it was just a massive frustration 2 or 3 weeks. But it's good, I can now use a digital camera better, so that's cool.
What do you reckon was the greatest achievement of your personal greatest achievement of 2020?
Personal greatest achievement? Oh wow! Oh, all my handmade masks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you got on there.
I apologise. It needs to go in the washing machine.
Yeah, they do need to go on the washing machine on a regular basis. But yeah, so the handmade masks are, I think, a really good achievement, because I don't own a sewing machine, and I haven't sewed since I was at school. I didn't hand stitch it, sewing machine stitched it, but I haven't done that since school.
It's very impressive. It's better than the one I bought from the shop.
Definitely. I borrowed a sewing machine from Jasmine, and then I got a little kit from Hobbycraft, learned to make the first one, and then I whizzed them all off for you lot, keeping you safe and secure, looking after my team.
The whole way through the first lockdown, I didn't learn anything, and then you're seeing everything about people learning languages and learning everything. And the second lockdown, I've taught myself how to hula hoop, and I'm quite proud of myself, because I've never been able to do it.
Better late than never. I still can't hula hoop. I don't think my hips work that way.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, I didn't think mine did, but I can give lessons when we're all back together next quarterly.
Yeah, let's hope we can do it in person. I don't want a Zoom hula hoop.
No.
Citizen Zoom hula hoop. Maybe it's a thing.
Disaster. Yeah. Laptops flying.
Lovely. Well, I think for me professionally, I started at Citizen, which was a really lovely thing that actually did happen in 2020, and for all of the changes that we've been through, and for everything that we've had to adapt to, and all the pivoting we've had to do, and how it's not really the job that I was told it was going to be. I've really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed the people I've worked with and the projects I've worked on, and I've super enjoyed the contact that I've been able to have with the volunteer network on Mersey Island, who have really done a fantastic job of being our eyes and ears, and really shown me the real potential for remote community archaeology, which is wild.
My greatest achievement of 2020, other than learning how to use my mobile phone properly, which is always a good step, was getting digital walks out and about, the low tide trails out on Twitter. They were really successful, and I think a really useful way of getting people out onto the coast without actually having to leave their front rooms. So that worked really well. And on a more personal note, my curry game's upped. I've been working through my 2 curry Christmas cookbooks. So if you want a curry next year, I'm your man.
2020.
Best
What's the
Citizen
one
product.
thing we did that you're an adaptation to COVID that you went, yes, that one was great. Even
I
if it
think
didn't work. There is a few that didn't work quite as well as we thought they would.
the first adaptation, which was lovely, was everybody was up for adapting. I think it's hard to whip a team and say do this if they're not up for it, if they've got no enthusiasm. But the fact that the entire team said, yeah, we can do this, we can arrange it, we'll find something, we'll sort it out. So it's the great thing of having a team that is willing to adapt and willing to experiment and willing to go, it might work, it might not, let's try. That was really important. And then the things we've done, I really think that the Twitter low tide trails that then converted to the story map self-guided low tide trails worked really well. It was we were supposed to be doing self-guided low tide trails in year 3, so technically we brought it forward a year, so we did it a year early. And with the precursor of doing it as a Twitter low tide trail, and then to a main one for our website was brilliant. So it's a really good task, well done.
Yeah,
And a year early.
And a year early, yeah. They did work really well in the end, but we managed to get all the photos. They'll just get updated more and more now. That's the lovely thing about the digital, is that we can constantly update them, so they're not the same as a billboard. They won't die, if that makes sense. They're not a stationary fixed thing. We can, when we are allowed back out on site, we can update them with that information, which I think is going to be great.
Yeah.
When we can do that.
What did we do? We've done some great things. Actually, I mean, I have to give a big up for my colleague, Lawrence, who's not here to talk to the camera, but Ramsgate Festival of Sound was really amazing. So he created a sound piece and an exhibition that then we ran together, and we had 320 visitors in 4 days, and we've got invited back next year. And then springboarded from that, I set up a session for chat conference on soundscapes, which was brilliant. So we got people to send in different soundscapes, archaeologists and non-archaeologists. So I think those 2 things, a soundy summer.
Sound chat stand for.
Oh, sorry, Contemporary Historical Archaeology in Theory Conference. It was more like it was a festival this year, not a conference, an online festival.
Yeah, I had some of those online festival things. Everyone's had a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year I might actually be able to pop over to Ramsgate and have a look at the sound festival.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh yeah, that would be really
incredible. They've got some lovely stuff out there.
The best.
You're going to go with crafting with Citizen, aren't you?
Well, I did quite enjoy doing crafting with Citizen. But it wasn't really it was kind of an adaptation, because one of the things that going into 2020 when I started the job, my colleague Oliver and I, who worked together, sat down and made a list, a master plan for 2020 of things we were going to get done, a very optimistic end of February plan. And one of the things we really wanted to do was to go out into less less heritage-based festivals and fairs and so on, to really try and get the app and everything into different groups. And one of the things that we thought we were going to absolutely need to do, and something I firmly believe in, is that you have to get a whole family involved in order to really affect change in their lives and to get people interested and committed to changing their life so they can continue to monitor coastal zones. So one of the things we knew is that we'd have to get the kids coming to our stand, which meant make and takes, which are the little crafting activities that you can do with kids. And so I'd started having ideas of the make and takes that I would do. And once COVID hit, we decided to make them online. So we did episodes of crafting with Citizan. I think we're up to 10 episodes now, which were delightful. I certainly had fun doing them. And I think lots of people enjoyed watching me hot glue my fingers together and things like that. So.
Our best Citizen product is definitely the low tide trails on Twitter and on the website. I think following close behind that, though, is the Citizen quizzes. I know that they were time consuming to put together and they didn't necessarily work, but I think the Citizen quizzes were really good. And they're going to come back next year.
I thought they were
definitely
brilliant.
going to come back next year.
But they didn't work as well as I thought they would. That was the hard bit with the digital stuff. We kind of would just, it was like stabbing in the dark. Like, right, webinars, they'll work, but people will get bored of the academic side. All right, let's put together some quizzes. How mental should we make them? And I went from very, very mental to then slowly making them more and more archaeological. And then, yeah, sadly, they just didn't land. But yeah, if we can bring them back, that'd be great. But we'll have to work out a way of doing it. Some kind of pub quiz or with people involved.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Okay, and then we're on to the end. What's the plan for 2020? You're the boss, so you should. 2021. Sorry, COVID did steal a year from me. Apparently, I got confused. 2021. What is the plan for 2021?
The plan for 2021 is so we're going to spend the winter sort of building up our thoughts, our plans. Hopefully, as more people get the COVID jab and so on, more of our volunteers will be confident in coming out and joining us. So it won't just be the Citizen team going out when we can. We'll be surrounded by new and current and former volunteers who want to also come out and do stuff with us. And it will be a full-on year. I have no doubt the toil that you lot will be racking up in 2021 will be almighty.
I don't think anyone's going to mind this time round.
So for this year, it's really getting out and doing, and then 2022 will be the writing up and the presenting and the conferencing for that. That's what the team will be doing. And then me personally, from my side, I will be looking at the sustainability of Citizen, sustainability of everyone's jobs, and also really bringing archaeology and climate change together. They're really two important elements, I think, that can be integrated a lot better than we currently do. And I think that's a really important set of data that could add to the climate change debate or climate change mitigation or climate change adaptation. And that's what I want to personally be doing and leading the Citizen team on for 2021.
2021, well, we're going to be doing Ramsgate Festival of Sound again, like I said, so we'll be right about that'll be September. Sandwich Bay, which is where we managed to squeeze in just before lockdown. We're going to be going back there because low tide's end of March. And hopefully a graffiti project in Margate of graffiti carved into chalk cliffs.
Is that the skull? I've seen a 3D skull.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's about 6 miles of graffiti carved into the cliffs, which is brilliant. And then hopefully we'll be able to do some of the stuff that we just weren't able to do last year. Big survey at Conyers Creek, brick wharf and barges. So yeah, we've got stuff we put off from last year and stuff that we've kind of developed because we had to put off stuff from last year.
Definitely professionally, the first thing that we want to do is we've got a fabulous Red Hills site that we've been looking at. A lovely woman named Jackie and her family have been collecting as things have been eroding out of this site for a couple of generations now. And unfortunately, she passed away just a few weeks ago. But we managed to get a wonderful oral history of her and whole family. and we've managed to get some drone footage and done a bit of survey work, but not a huge amount on the site, and have access to the entire collection of what they've been doing. So what I'd really like to do, and the first thing I want to do, is to get out to look at the collection where it's being held, and to really do justice to her story, which is a really lovely story of a personal relationship to a site. And I think that's something that we can really champion.
Okay.
Personally, though, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Rowan's Bowling.
Get out, get down to Liverpool, eat more scouse. We're looking at doing some work on the Hilborough Island chain. That will be absolutely fantastic. It's a little bit of time since we've actually had the chance to do some work on some tidal islands, so that will be good. There's possibly some Roman archaeology out there. There's definitely some Second World War archaeology out there. There's all sorts of interesting bits and pieces. Do some more work on Liverpool docks. Hopefully, with a little bit of luck, get a face-to-face conference happening in Liverpool. I think that would be absolutely brilliant. Do a little bit more to talk about the trade in enslaved Africans. Like to do some more on that. And find a really nice shipwreck. That would be my ideal. A really nice shipwreck that we could work on.
A really good
shipwreck
that you can sink your teeth into researching. Okay,
yeah.
So I hope you all enjoyed that. We have gone out on a bit of a whim here, so if you like this kind of content, let us know. Put it in the comments, do something, like it, subscribe to the page. We're not sure if this works. Like a lot of 2020, we're kind of stabbing in the dark with this more personal look at our lives instead of constantly talking about archaeology, kind of giving you our opinions on it and our personal opinions and personal views on stuff as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the new year.